What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 90210 Faux Show. This is a podcast on the hit series 90210 Beverly Hills 90210 from the years 1990 to the year 2000. Guys, this episode we're going to be talking about episode 14, which is technically episode 13. They never counted the pilot as an episode, so technically it's season 1, episode 13, but I count it as a 14. It's called East Side Story. It was filmed, it was aired on February 14th. Valentine's Day makes a lot of sense, 1991. So Valentine's Day, 1991, okay? And this episode is mainly about Brandon Walsh, all right? I think it says a lot about Brandon Walsh and what kind of guy he is and stuff like that. And let's get into it, you know? Hold on here. Before I start, I usually do it at the end, but let's do it at the beginning here. It looks like Daniel Attias, I'm not sure. I'm an idiot. I got a high school education here, people. That's why I'm doing a 90210 podcast at the age of 41 with my German Shepherd in my basement. So Daniel was the director of this episode. Looks like in 2017 he did an episode of Snowfall. I don't know what that is. The episode Slow Hand. He also has done 4 episodes on the hit show The Americans, which I don't know if you know this about myself. I love The Americans. If anybody has not seen The Americans on FX, very good. So look at Daniel. Daniel already has, he has some hits already there. He has Homeland, which he did. Looks like he did 6 episodes on Homeland. Everybody knows about Homeland out there. Let me see anything else. Ray Donovan, of course. He did. Looks like he did 4 episodes on Ray Donovan. Masters of Sex, he did 1 episode. He did 1 series on True Detective, 2015 version. I think that's still the Vince Vaughn version. Possibly, I'm pretty sure that's the last one. He did a Bloodline. He did 1 episode. If anybody knows Bloodline on Netflix, excellent series. Resurrection, he did 4 episodes. This guy's been around. Always Sunny in Philadelphia did 16 episodes, so he made a lot of that. The Killing, excellent. True Blood, 3 episodes of that, which everybody loved that. Walking Dead, he did an episode. New Girl, he did an episode. House, he did 8 episodes. Entourage, he did 10 episodes of Entourage. Big Love, he did 9 episodes of Big Love. Boy, this guy really does have he did Heroes, 2 episodes. He did The Wire, 4 episodes, which is one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show, The Wire. He did a really good show right here. He did 1 episode on Studio 60 on Sunset Strip that never made it. But it was a good show. I seen some of it. He did an episode on Deadwood, which was excellent. God, this guy has a freaking resume. I mean, you want to talk about a worker. I mean, if he did this in 91, we're still in 2002 to 2005 with 6 Feet Under. He did Alias, 7 episodes of that. He did a Boston Legal. Ugh, I don't know about Boston Legal, but whatever. I know there's some people out there. He did Sopranos, 3 episodes. He did 3 episodes. I like to look up those episodes. 46 long. I can't remember that one in 99. Mergers and Acquisitions. I wonder which one that is right there. I'd have to look through it. Pretty sure I know I've watched it before. Many others. This guy has. I mean, Party of 5. Ally McBeal. He did Ally McBeal in 97. Lois and Clark. He did an episode of that. Northern Exposure. God, this guy goes back, man. He did 5 episodes of Northern Exposure. Doc Quinn, Medicine Woman. How about that, huh? The later episodes, now people are starting to go, I wasn't even born then, or that shows up. And then he did Beverly Hills. He did 20 episodes of Beverly Hills. Who knew? He did it all the way up to 94. His last one was Intervention. So he must have did the 20 episodes from 91 to 94. So, I mean, he was really putting them in. And looks like he did some Melrose Places there in 92. He did 21 Jump Street. Oh, this guy's working with Johnny Depp, huh? Johnny Depp when he was young and dripping like young, young Johnny Depp cock. I mean, come on now. Young Johnny Depp cock. I mean, come on. You couldn't put, dude, young Johnny Depp cock. You could put that up against any other cock, and he would win every time. Every time, Johnny Depp, right? I mean, you bring it. You let me know what any cock that you could bring up against young Johnny Depp cock, and you tell me who wins, okay? He also did an episode of Sledgehammer. I remember Sledgehammer. It was a comedy. He did Miami Vice. He did an episode. And wow, so Fast Times must have had I wonder if that was Fast Times Original High. It came out in 86, but it was just called Fast Times. He did 1 episode of that. Wow, good for you, director Daniel Attias. God, this guy's still working, man. Still putting it in. You know how we do. And of course, it was written by the very, very talented Darren Star and Charles Rosin. Which Charles Rosin, I mean, it looks like he was deep in 90210 and the writing process and stuff. It looks like he was, you know, I see his name all over these. So let's get into this, okay? Let's get into this East Side story episode, okay? Like I said, this is mainly about Brandon Walsh. So Brandon comes home and he sees his housekeeper, some other really handsome Hispanic gentleman, and Cindy and Jim Walsh's living room, and they're kind of talking like adults. Brandon comes in off his bike, kind of looks in there, kind of leaves it alone, says there's adult shit going on in there, right? I see adult shit going on, and they got their serious faces on, right? And it looks like they're really chopping it up in there. So Brandon goes upstairs to Brenda. He goes, that's Brenda for Brenda Walsh. Brenda, I call her. Same thing with Kelly. Kelly Taylor. Every once in a while, I call her Kelly. Please, I'll call her Kel. Please keep up. If not, I'm sorry. The class has to continue. So Brandon goes up to the room with Brenda, and he goes, what's going on, Brenda? And I don't know. We're doing this. Dad's client's coming over, and they got swimwear and like all this stuff, and that's what's going on because they're making Brenda sound kind of dumb right now and doesn't know what's going on. But Brandon, I mean, he knows something's going on. He's reading the faces, and he knows something's going on with Mom and Dad right now. And it looks like the housekeeper's getting fired, is what Brandon says. Comes to find out that the housekeeper has a niece that's living in a bad neighborhood. Is the story they're telling. They're spreading lies. Is the story that she's got a young niece that's really intelligent, straight A's at another school in a bad neighborhood, and wants the opportunity that she needs a better opportunity. So what's happening is the Walshes are going to lie and say that, yeah, this young lady lives at our house. Okay, she lives here in 90210, so she can go to West Beverly, right? Going to West Beverly. You know, you can't get no better than that. So then that's what the story is. So guess what? This episode, Hispanic. It's that's the moral, right? It's letting you into the world of like possibly Mexicans and Hispanic immigrants, and that's the topic. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. That's just the topic. And you know how they always do morals on 90210. This is the one where it's kind of saying, hey, you know, what's going on here? So the young lady shows up. She's a hot piece of ass. Let's just say that. I mean, she's no Dylan McKay. I'll tell you that much, you know? She's no Kelly Taylor, all right? And I'm not just saying that because she's Hispanic. My wife's freaking Mexican. I'm saying Dylan McKay was, you know, he's got that Johnny Depp cock. You know, that young Johnny Depp cock. Dylan McKay, you might be able to bring young Dylan McKay cock up against young Johnny Depp cock, and it would be a war. But I really think at the end of the day, young Johnny Depp cock is going to win. And so this woman is just beautiful. First of all, she doesn't look like a high school girl. I mean, I don't know who's doing the casting here. I know they're trying to trick us, but, you know, man, she's a hot piece of ass is what I'm saying. Got the thick curly hair. And then it shows her in class as she's coming there and stuff like that. And she's just killing it in class. She's speaking French fluently, right? Every class she's talking about, you know, she's breaking down like old writers, you know, like Whitman and shit. Like she's like, I thought he was a bed massage, whatever it was. So then Brandon notices, like, whoa, this woman is very intelligent. Let me introduce myself. Boom. He introduced himself to her. He finds out that, wow, this is the young lady that we're lying to the city to saying that they're living here. So they become chummy, right? Brandon's giving her the full court Brandon Walsh press, you know? He's trying to get in on that. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get in on that. So Brandon's taking her home, right? Brandon takes her, which I don't even know how Brandon Walsh is still driving, because if anybody knows, a few episodes back, BYOB episode, that's Bring Your Own Beer, or Bring Your Own Brandon Walsh, I'm not sure, and where Brandon Walsh got a DUI, okay? He was a juvenile, got a DUI, and now Brandon, on these other episodes, they never even talk about it. They're not saying anything about it, and he's driving this beautiful senorita home, right? From high school as he's putting it on, right? Where he's like, oh, God, what I would do to fucking eat your flautas. You know what I'm saying? Well, like what I would do to taste your pozole, honey. I would love to taste your pozole. Right? That's what Brandon's basically saying, right? And she's like, hey, Snowflake, back the fuck up, all right? You don't know the true story, okay? You just hear the story that your parents lied to you about, and we'll get to that later. So Brandon and her start to kind of get a little chummy. They're hanging. Brandon, I mean, first of all, You can't, there's no kryptonite for Brandon Walsh's charm. You know, you can't do it. Brandon Walsh is a charmer. You know, first of all, he's handsome as shit, right? He's no Dylan McKay, but he's pretty damn handsome, right? He's got this twinkle in the eye. Well, when he starts to take this woman home and starts to realize, like, oh my God, another thing that they highlight in this episode is he's taking the young lady home. he takes her to the Hispanic neighborhood, and you show like Hispanic workers, probably undocumented, possibly, I'm assuming, jumping out of trucks and from working a day, and he's like, "What's that about?" And they're like, "Yeah, those are the legals." She's basically like, "Yeah, those guys just got done working. How do you think these pools get built in all these neighborhoods, right?" And it kind of hints to saying that like you're underpaying these workers, and they're putting a light on that kind of quickly, but also saying like these Hispanic neighborhoods are kind of fucked because they're the whole thing, how it's illegal and they can't get real jobs, they move on with their lives, and it's just this whole thing going on right there, and they don't really get into it too much. Andrea during the episode finds out that his parents are lying, and Andrea, since she's lying, staying with her grandma, she's like, "Hey, you better tell your people to watch out. You don't want to get in trouble." There's a scene in here where Brandon's trying to get a date with this woman, and he goes, "Hey, how do I get a date with you?" Basically, and she goes, "You like to dance?" All right, and then they go to like this like Hispanic hip hop club, right, where they're dancing, line dancing and shit, looking stupid, looking so 90s, right, 1991, February 14th. And showing all these fucking people dancing in a line. And then she jumps in the middle because she's the star of the show this episode with Brandon. And then Brandon starts dancing there. I'm not a dancer at all. And I would look worse than what Brandon Walsh looked like dancing. But God, he is a bad dancer. You'd think as an actor he would have taken a couple dance lessons so he didn't look so damn clunky. Or maybe he did look clunky. Maybe he already had dance lessons and they wanted to look clunky. Who am I to assume that the great Brandon Walsh could not dance? All right, everybody. As the episode's going on, there's another side story going on here. So Jim Walsh is an accountant. He finally landed a gold star client, okay? A gold star client is what I'm saying. And for this gold star client, they're going to have like a party and have everybody over and stuff like this. And this guy sounds like he's kind of like I don't know, like a surfing kind of beachwear type of a company guy and an owner of a company like that. Like I can't think of the names right now. I'm blanking, but swimwear and stuff like that, and surfwear. So they're gonna have a party for this guy, right? To kind of Jim's gonna say, "Hey, thank you for the business, and let's get to know each other." Well, Brandon's new girlfriend gets a job there for the day, catering, and Brandon doesn't like that. And Brandon's getting a little sensitive right now to Hispanics and stuff. How he's like, I see what's going on over here, and these Hispanics are getting wronged, and I don't like seeing my girlfriend serving all these rich people here. And Brandon has a little problem with his dad. Everybody shows up that night, and the rich guy that owns the company, he's having a good old time. He makes an inappropriate comment about one of the young lady that's the star of this episode, and Brandon, like a little bit, I didn't know Brandon had this in him. It was a little bit more Brenda Walsh, but Brandon says some inappropriate stuff in front of this client that Jim Walsh has about, you're going down to Mexico, but your Mexico plan, that you're underpaying people down there, and so they can't have a fair wage. And then Jim Walsh is like, apologize to the man, and Brandon just looks at him like, no, guess what? Go F yourself, Jim Walsh, which was very, very rude. And I didn't know Brandon Walsh had it in, but his emotions are getting the best of him. Because Brandon wants this. He wants to taste this young lady's pozole and flautas, and he wants to, in the morning, he wants to eat chiaquillas with her. I don't even know if that's how you say that. Chiaquilla. I don't even know how to say that. It's what is that breakfast shit where you rip up the tortillas, and then you kind of either make them hard or soft, and you put like a green sauce on them and an egg and a cheese, and you throw some beans on the side of it, and chiaquilla. I don't know. I don't really know. My wife's Mexican, and she'll fucking stab me in the fucking throat for not even knowing that, right? You can't say that, right? My wife does not even sound like that, but she'll stab me in the throat just for even talking about her like that. Anyways, let's keep it moving. So Brandon's got a bit of an attitude, right? This next day of the party, or it's the day of the party, and all that happens. At the end of the night, Jim Walsh and them in the night. Jim had a good night. He smoothed it over. Brandon goes up, Dad, can I talk to you? I feel like there's something more you're not telling us about this young lady and stuff, and I don't know what's going on. And Jim Walsh goes, hey, we promised the people we can't say anything. So, no, we're not going to tell you, Brandon. Comes to find out, Brandon knocks on the door like a day or two later to go see this young lady, right? And they go see this young lady and say, hey, you want to hang out? And his the Walsh's housekeeper answers. That's where she's supposed to be living with, and in real life, and in real 90210 life. And the housekeeper of the Walshes tell Brandon, yeah, she's gone. She's not here no more. And Brandon goes, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, she went back home. and comes to find out that she really didn't need an address to live in. Because she was in a bad neighborhood. Comes to find out she's in another state or another, very far away, possibly another country. I think it was another state, and she witnessed a gang member's murder. Somebody in the neighborhood, and she was like a witness. And for safety, they had her go very far away. And the Hispanic man that was always in the episode, kind of protecting her. At first, you thought, like, what is this guy? Like, is she a sex worker or something like that? Does he own her or something like that? But no, he was just a detective from that town. And comes to find out that the Hispanic guy that shot the person, the Hispanic killer, eventually broke down and confessed that he did murder this person, which that would never happen. Never happen. Nobody would ever break down and say, hey, I murdered somebody. Please give me 30 years to life. So it's kind of bullshit 90210 ending. But just like every 90210 episode, they always open it up nice and smooth. They open up the cap. They let the odor come out. They deal with the topics. There's a couple moral issues in there. And the young kids learn their lesson sometimes. Sometimes they don't know how to deal with it. Most of the time they do. And then they put the cap on it by the end of the episode. I'm noticing that's the theme for all these earlier episodes. As time goes on, the characters develop and the storylines kind of drag out a little bit longer because they know the viewer is going to stick with them from episode to episode. They do that less. Like, for example, when David, he was having problems in school, in college, and then he had like kind of I think he had a drug problem, and same thing with Donna and Kelly, and remember when Kelly had the coke problem. Let's not jump too far, Eric, okay? Let's not jump too far. I think this episode I was talking a lot about Brandon and Hispanics and Johnny Depp young cock, okay? And if anybody thinks I'm wrong about young Johnny Depp cock out there, please let me know. You could contact me at Eric Pennell 1975 on Instagram. And please subscribe to my YouTube page. Please spread this around. I know there's 90210 fans out there. Look, I love the show. I break down the episodes, and I think about these characters a lot differently now that I've been breaking them down, and I'm seeing like the development of them, and also how you can tell the budget's getting better because in the early series. Early episodes, we're only 13, 14 episodes in on the first season, but you could tell like the lighting's getting better. The very first episodes, the lighting was really bad. You could tell they didn't have the budget. And a few other things. I don't know if they knew this was going to be such a hit and it was going to go 10 years or 10 seasons. Because even some of the parents are different. Like, yes, Jackie Taylor, cokehead Jackie Taylor was the same person. But they had Mel Silver, David Silver's dad, was a producer in a movie. I think they got that wrong. Unless Mel Silver's doing producing on the side, just, for an extra grind with all his dentist money. But he was a dentist in real life. He never was a movie producer that I knew of. And then also Donna Martin, which is slowly starting to drip a little bit more into the storyline. Her mom was a different person when they did Jackie Taylor was doing a fashion show with Kelly Taylor. And that episode was called The Perfect Mom. And please, I have other episodes on here. I've done, I think, 13 other episodes. Please check those out. They're very short. Guys, my name's Eric Pennell. I do have another podcast on the Laugh Factory Network. I am a stand-up comedian, a failed stand-up comedian at that. But I do a podcast on the Laugh Factory Network. It's called This Is For the Birds. It's with Russ Williamson and Pat Kelly. And please subscribe to that. We'd love to hear you. We've been doing it for 4 years, and that's a very successful podcast that I do with those guys. Guys, have a good day. Let's go get it. It's April. Tax time's coming up, huh? God damn it. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started. I need Jim Walsh to help me. Jim Walsh, where are you at? Bye, guys.